Hey Rob, it's
Hey,
good to
Jim.
be
Yeah, it
back.
is. How you doing?
Good, good. How's everything
Busy,
going
busy,
over there
busy.
today?
Trying to coordinate things.
Yeah. Speaking of coordinating, Rob, I had a thought. Let's just jump right into this and let me ask you. Um, a few days ago, I saw someone who was moving from California to Puerto Rico, and they had, I don't know if it was 3 or 4 bedrooms, quite a bit. And it appeared to me that their move was 7 to 10 days out.
Oh,
So when you have that narrow of a window, can is that possible? Can it be done? Can you
yeah.
explain
So in
how that
terms
would
of
work?
timing and like advance notice, well, first of all, moving to Puerto Rico is a little tricky. I mean, it's very doable. We do it all the time, but there are only a few ports of embarkation, ports of exit from the United States, and nothing in like Long Beach ain't one of them. So,
Oh,
there's an over the road trucking piece that's involved in that kind of move. But to answer your question, um, we like about a 2 month advance notice. I'll book things up to 4 months out, maybe 5 months out. In that way, we can lock in prices. We can kind of grease the skids a little bit in terms of logistics. If it's going to be an overseas type thing, we can start working on getting an ocean vessel booking. You don't want to get the goods and not have a booking because then there's that lag or the delay that can cause some little issues. So we'd like, I say 2 months, but up to 5 months. Any more than that, it's kind of like,
mm,
well, I'll quote you, but things could change. Someone's like, I'm moving in 9 months.
hmm,
I'm happy to quote you. This is what it is, but I'm going to have to requote you at some point, in case things change.
mm,
So to further answer your question, 7 days, that's real quick. And it depends on the size of the
yeah,
move. If it's 200 cubic feet, two pallets, or a lift van, LCL kind of shipment, no problem, probably. And as long as it's local to one of our offices, whether it's Los Angeles, San Francisco, Seattle, Houston, Miami, New York, etc. Um, if it's Omaha, Nebraska, well, I'm going to have to coordinate something there, and 7 days may not be enough time. But typically, if it's a big
hmm,
city, that we can do it. If it is busy season, which is summer, and it's 5 bedrooms, which is going to require a lot of labor, a lot of planning, a lot of logistical coordination, it may not be possible. If it's five
mm,
bedrooms, full packing services. So we're going to spend, I'm going to have 4 people at the house for 2 days just packing and prepping and
mm.
protecting everything. And then the third day is going to be just loading. 7 days usually isn't possible. But I've been
Right.
surprised before. I've had clients say, "Look, I'm going." The business said, "Go," and I'm going in
Yeah.
10 days, and it's a big move. I found a way to do it sometimes, but I can never guarantee that at all.
Yeah. I guess in my mind, well, before I ask this question or interject anything, for those who haven't heard us talk about this before, can you just briefly explain what a lift van
Oh yeah,
is?
sure. So two different ways of shipping goods overseas, right? So a client may get an exclusive container. That could be a 20-foot container. That could be a 40-foot container. It could be a 40-foot high cube. But that's exclusively their container. We're going to fill it. It's theirs, no one else's. Put the seal on it. It goes to the destination. For clients who have a reduced inventory list, then we'll use a shared container. And in order to do that, things have to go onto pallets because it's a shared container. It's not just their things in the container. Things are going to have to be moved around a little bit once in a while, and that requires forklifts to do that. So it has to be on a pallet. Um, the best practice there is to put things in a lift van if there's any value to the
Mm,
furniture or the goods being shipped. If it's just boxes of books and they're in strong boxes, palletization is fine. But when we started getting into nice furniture, some delicate items, artwork, electronics, mattresses, I like to use a lift fan. A lift fan is just an industry term for a wooden crate. It's a big, sturdy wooden crate with slots in the bottom, so it'll accept the forks from a forklift. They can be moved around, but it's like its own little mini container. So they come in
Right.
200 cubic foot increments. So if someone's got 100 cubic feet, it's going to be some air. If they've got 300 cubic feet, they're going to need 2 lift fans, et cetera, et cetera. But that's just an industry term for a crate.
Right. So, so now back to the actual move. So I guess if I was the person, there would be a reason why I'm only 7 to 10 days out. Somebody must be telling me I have to be on a
Right.
plane and be in Puerto Rico in 7 days, or else I would have contacted you months
Yeah.
before. So I guess in that situation, I'm going to be there long before my furniture potentially can be there, and that's okay. I guess that's part of coordinating schedules,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, that's perfectly fine. And, we also always have the safety net of we have storage. So most of my
Yeah,
clients, I'd say, 2/3 of our clients, they're moving from wherever. They're moving from Los Angeles or New York to London.
yeah,
And I'll say, okay, what's your address in New York or Los Angeles or San Francisco? And I'll get that. And I say, what's the address in London? I don't know yet. I haven't got a place. Still working.
yeah,
No problem, but I'll probably have it. I say, yeah, okay, but your products are going to be on the ocean for a little while. We've got some time.
yeah.
But in the event that they don't have something, we're in touch with our clients constantly. Hey, in 10 days, we're going to hit the port in Southampton, for example.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
oh, I don't have a
Yep.
place. Okay. And I don't think I'm going to have a place for another month. Okay. We'll just store it for you. And
That
I or the sales reps can quote the client ahead of time, right with the initial quote. If you happen to need storage, here's the cost. And that's not a profit center for us. There is a cost to it, of course. It's not a profit
of
center,
course, yeah.
but we have that. So things can be stored if they don't have an address.
So there have been times then maybe where somebody's leaving, or they're long before their household goods are leaving, they just leave you the key and say, pack and ship, and they're going to be in that location. And, maybe they don't even have a permanent residence yet. Maybe they're just in a little apartment,
Right.
and
Yeah,
then their stuff comes over.
that's right.
If I said, "Hey, can you videotape the empty rooms before you leave and lock the door?" Would they do that or
No, we
no?
wouldn't do that. It's just too much liability there, too much.
Oh, okay.
No. But there have been times where someone said, look, we're leaving and we're not going to be
Yeah.
there on the day. I don't want to get too into the weeds here, but maybe I'm doing a live load, and the only way to do a live load is the day after they left, because the
Right.
container and the ocean vessel booking, that's the only way to do it. And they say, I'll have my friend, my cousin, my daughter, some responsible person that they have authorized to be there when we do it. We would never,
Oh, I
yeah, we
got
would
you.
never just show up and do it because it's just, it's just too much liability. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
got you. Yeah,
But
that
it
makes
has
sense.
happened, but it definitely has happened in the past where the client, the consignee or the shipper is not there, but someone else is. Yeah.
Yeah. Rob, that's great information. So the moral of the story is, if you have the time, definitely don't wait to the last minute.
But
But should things come down to the last minute, it is
you,
doable.
you make a phone call and I or any of our specialists would work on it and see what we can do. Like I said, we've worked miracles before in 2 or 3 days for smaller moves. But basically I like to book things a couple months out. That's perfect. A couple months up to perhaps 6 months, up to beyond that. Again, we're going to have to requote
Yeah.
most likely, but at least you get a price. But again, you can always try,
Yeah.
but the bigger the move, the more time we need.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And another thing I always tell clients, I said, look, I'm not exactly sure exactly when the pickup's going to be. I say, let's put a stake in the ground. Let's take a stake, put it in the ground. And this always sounds kind of salesy, like I'm selling. Want to get that, business, that booking. And it does sound that way, but it's not exactly. It's let's put a stake in the ground, because if I give you a quote, or one of our specialists gives you a quote, and it says August 1st is the pickup, and this is the whole deal, and you're like, yep, and you sign off on that. You can always change things. We can change things as long as it's not the day before. That wouldn't be good.
Yeah.
But if it's like, look, things are moving around, no problem. We just change it. Even hey, I'm not moving after all. Let's cancel it. Again, as long as it's not the day before, that would be a problem. But it's movable. So I tell people, just book. And again, that's salesy sounding, but it's reality. It's the best thing to do.
Even though SDC takes care of everything, the logistics and all of that, the people don't have to worry about that. I guess there's always a certain amount of stress in the person's mind, because they're thinking that they're never going to be 100% relaxed until they're in their new home, their new place, all their belongings are there, and the transaction is over. But yeah, that's understandable. You guys carry a lot of the heavy load.
Well, yeah, when someone's moving internationally, they're changing their whole life. It's not like
it's a major move.
Yeah, it's not like the 1600s when you're getting on a boat for 60 days and really changing your life. But it still is a whole process, and you're changing your life, and it's expensive. And the household good shipment isn't the only consideration for our clients. We know that there are lots of other things going on. So if we can kind of take this piece off, reliably say, look, let's book this. Let's put a stake in the ground. If it changes, it changes. We've got this. We're gonna ask for certain documents, but we've got the process door to door. You're in good hands. That's kind of our objective.
Then they can focus on the other technical things, like their new bank account,
and
turning on their utilities,
right, and then getting registered with health insurance and that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right, Rob. As always, great information. We'll put your number on the screen, and so we'll catch back up next week.
Sounds good. I'll see you then.
All right, Rob. See you then.
All right, Jim. See you later.
All right. Bye-bye.